Welcome back to The Explainer. I'm really excited to unpack today's topic with you. We're going to dive right in because today we're looking at a pretty fascinating real-world example of how a single, highly localized incident can just completely ignite a massive systemic debate across the entire country. We're going to look closely at a specific assault case out of Massachusetts to really understand the profound friction between local law enforcement procedures and federal immigration authorities. It's kind of like a giant puzzle, but we're going to break down exactly how it all happened. Now, to really grasp the mechanics of this issue, we've got to zoom out a bit. It's so easy to look at a local police report and just see an isolated event, right? But what we're analyzing today is how an incident that started at a local liquor store immediately collided with these massive overlapping layers of government policy. You've got a local arrest, followed incredibly swiftly by a federal intervention, resulting in this systemic clash that highlights exactly where city and federal priorities diverge. Let's look at exactly how the sequence of events unfolded.
Section 1. The incident in Massachusetts.
Okay, starting right at the ground level, the facts of this inciting incident paint a picture of really rapid escalation. According to local police reports, this whole thing started with an individual named Deval Amrat by Patel. He's an Indian national who was working at a liquor store in Worcester, Massachusetts. The situation basically breaks down into 3 quick steps. Step 1, Patel gets into a verbal argument with a customer at the store. Step 2, things escalate, and I mean way beyond just words. And step 3, the situation turns violent when Patel allegedly grabs a baseball bat and strikes the man. It's a really sudden, aggressive escalation that immediately triggered a local police response. So when local law enforcement arrived on the scene, they obviously took Patel into custody. And because a bat was used in the altercation, well, this wasn't treated as just a simple scuffle. The Worcester Police Department actually filed a severe criminal charge against him, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Establishing the sheer gravity of this local charge is super important because it explains exactly why this individual was placed into the Massachusetts justice system to begin with. Section 2. Local arrest and release. Following the incident, the Worcester Police Department officially arrested Patel on May 16th. They processed him purely based on those local assault charges we just talked about. But here is the absolute critical contextual piece. This processing falls under Massachusetts' jurisdictional rules, specifically what the federal government refers to as sanctuary policies. These are local directives that govern exactly how much, or how little, local police cooperate with federal immigration agencies regarding the individuals they hold in their local custody. And this right here, this is the absolute turning point of our story. Following his processing for the assault, Patel was actually released from the local jail, right back into the community. And crucially, because of those local sanctuary policies we just mentioned, he was released without any notification whatsoever being sent to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. The local authorities processed the criminal charge and executed a release strictly according to their local protocols, essentially keeping the whole matter totally siloed from federal immigration tracking. Section 3. Federal Intervention by ICE. This timeline really emphasizes the rapid, escalating tension of this whole case. So on May 16th, we've got the local arrest by Worcester Police. Sometime shortly after that, at an unspecified time, Patel is released back into the community without ICE being alerted. But then by May 18th, literally just 48 hours after that initial arrest, federal ICE agents intervene and arrest Patel themselves. Within a mere 2 days, we've jumped from a highly localized police matter to an immediate federal apprehension. I mean, this just brilliantly illustrates the core friction at play here. On one hand, you have local Massachusetts policy, which dictated a release without a federal alert. But on the other hand, federal enforcement was operating under a mandate of immediate apprehension the second they were able to locate him. You have 2 completely different systems with completely different directives operating in the exact same physical location over a tiny 48-hour window. Now, you might be wondering, why did ICE have the jurisdiction to step in on May 18th in the first place? Well, it all comes down to Patel's immigration status, at least as determined by the Department of Homeland Security. ICE established their federal jurisdiction based on the fact that Patel is an Indian national who, according to their records, entered the United States illegally at an unknown date and time. From the federal perspective, that status completely supersedes the local timeline, making him an immediate priority for an ICE apprehension, regardless of whatever is going on with that local assault case. Section 4, the DHS perspectives. The Department of Homeland Security definitely did not mince words regarding this incident. Here's a direct quote from Acting Assistant Secretary Lauren Bassis. She stated, "By refusing to cooperate with ICE law enforcement, sanctuary politicians are putting the safety of their citizens at risk."
So the key takeaway here is that the federal government isn't just treating this as some simple bureaucratic miscommunication. They are actively identifying local sanctuary policies as a direct, structural barrier to their federal law enforcement mandates.
So, breaking it down, the DHS really outlined three core arguments in their official statement after Patel's second arrest. First off, they directly accuse local Massachusetts politicians of non-cooperation, pointing specifically to the very fact that Patel was released without any alert. Second, they demand collaboration, basically insisting that local jails have to work with DHS to remove criminals from the country. And finally, they make this broader claim that these local releases actively compromise public safety. They're basically pointing to the severity of Patel's initial charge, that assault with a baseball bat, to argue that shielding individuals like that from federal tracking creates an inherent risk to the community at large. So what does this all mean? What we've seen today is how a really localized altercation at a liquor store spread like wildfire to become an illustration of one of the starkest jurisdictional divides we have in the country right now. We have a local system strictly following its specific sanctuary guidelines and a federal system demanding immediate cooperation for immigration enforcement. Which leaves us with a pretty vital question to ponder. As these overlapping systems continue to operate in the exact same spaces, how in the world will local and federal authorities navigate this deep jurisdictional divide moving forward? It's a super complex issue for sure, but understanding the mechanics of cases like this one in Worcester is that crucial first step to grasping the whole big picture. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this today. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.